This is Gina Marie Colvin Hill talking about the sun.
Video
Okay.
last night, but something strange is happening in this. We have very little time left to discover what we need to discover. We really do. I hope you can hear me. I wake up and I get on my laptop down here, and they said that they were wrong about the sun. That's what they said. Totally wrong about the sun, more or less. It's amazing that we were so spectacularly wrong about something that we should understand really well, the sun. Brian Fields, a particle astrophysicist at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, unexpected signal has emerged in data from the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope, a NASA observatory that scans the sky from its outpost in low orbit Earth. So, revealed the spectrum of the gamma rays coming from the sun in ever greater detail. The puzzles are only proliferated. They keep finding surprising things. I don't think they were ever wrong about the sun, really. I don't think. I think we've had someone who's known this whole time, and it very well could be these aliens, these beings that have been on the earth that worked their way into these areas right here. They're the ones who've given the knowledge how to build all this kind of stuff. These big Fermi labs, these CERNs. Now, this is advanced technology from other types of civilizations that was on the earth. It's never left the earth.
Well, of course, CERN hasn't left the Earth. It's about over 26 kilometers in circumference. And the Fermi satellite, for it to get any signal, would have to leave Earth because it was looking at gamma rays, and we're naturally protected from gamma rays. But I mean, that wasn't aliens who came up with the technology. Humans can be pretty clever at times and figure things out. So, no, it wasn't aliens. You don't understand something, so therefore aliens.
So I'm sitting there reading this. It's only an 8-minute read, but you're talking about this one thing right here. Gamma ray signals far stronger than a decades-old theory predicts. It also extends to much higher frequencies predicted, and it inexplicably varies across the face of the sun throughout a 11-year cycle. Then there's the gap. They're talking about the gap, which researchers call a dip, a lack of gamma rays with frequencies around 10 trillion hertz. The dip defies all logic. It's defying their logic, a dip in the sun. This particle stuff. Particle astrophysicist was who helped analyze it. Look at that, you all. Talking about the protons. Look, the likely protagonists are the particle called cosmic rays, typically protons going in solar system.
I read the paper and wrote a small essay on the paper that she's talking about how protons are coming in and interacting with the sun and making gamma rays, and they're scattered throughout the disk of the sun when it's at what they call a solar minimum, which has very little sunspots. Last one was 2019. And it goes up to a solar maximum, and I'll show a couple pictures here of it at a solar maximum where there's a lot of sunspots and the magnetic field gets twisted and turned, and the gamma rays probably interact with the field and go down during this period. But science always finds new stuff to investigate. It's just the way science is. You build a small telescope and see something. You build a bigger telescope, you see something different, or build a telescope in a different wavelength and you see something different, and you have to investigate it. That's just how science works.
Okay, look at this. They're talking about the Wimps. I'm going to get to the point where they talk about dark matter. It's like his dark matter. You know how they had people chanting Black Lives Matter? That they're not talking about the color of your skin. No, they're talking about this right here, you all. That's what they're talking about. The dark matter that is out there. That's what they're interested in. That's what CERN is interested in. When you have people chanting something over and over and over and over, it's bringing power to this force out there that they have awakened. They've awakened the dark matter. You may not agree with me and you may get upset, but we need to wake up. We're having spiritual warfare on a scale that has never been seen in our lifetimes, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Spiritual warfare. Don't fall for it, you all. Don't fall for it. They're playing the people. You're being played. You think that these powerful mouthpieces have your best interests in heart? Absolutely not. They're using you to summon their dark lord.
The dark matter is matter that doesn't interact much with light. That's why they call it dark matter, because they can't see it. Wimps stands for weak interacting massive particles, which are just particles that are relatively massive compared to other particles. Neutrinos pass from the sun billions through you every second, and they're so weakly interacting that they've put detectors in the bottom of mines, like in Sudbury, Ontario, where they put a big vat of chlorine, chlorinated water, and when one chlorine changes to argon, it lets out an electron. And they were expecting like 3 interactions per day, and they only found 1 interaction. But no, there's no dark overlord. We're not trying to bring a dark overlord into power. That has nothing to do with dark matter. And Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with dark matter either. This was how people of darker skin color were targeted by police, and some of them were killed by police when police overreacted to certain situations.
Talking about negatively charged. Okay. Perhaps the strong glow of gamma rays reflects a source other than doomed cosmic rays. But physicists have struggled to imagine what. They've long suspected that the sun's core might harbor dark matter. And that dark matter particles, look, the dark matter particles, after being drawn in and trapped by the gravity, they might be dense enough there to annihilate each other. But how could gamma rays produced by annihilating dark matter in the core avoid scattering before escaping the sun? They don't escape, they get trapped in there. Attempts to link the gamma ray signal to dark matter seem like a Rube Goldberg type thing. It's a theory. Look,
If dark matter is annihilating each other deep inside the sun, the gamma rays would have to bounce around quite a while because it's quite dense in there, so it would take a while for them to come out. And if by the time they come out, they would lose enough energy not to become gamma rays anymore. So that's probably what they're referring to. That's all.
Read this article right here. This is from Cosmic Rays. This is the sun is stranger than astrophysics imagine. It radiates far more high frequency light than expected, raising questions about unknown features of the sun's magnetic field. How do you not know the unknown features of the sun's magnetic field, and possibly even more? Somebody knows. That's why they got you studying it. Somebody knew. And then what do we got right here, you all? Let's see what we got here. Black Hole Sun. Isn't that right, that song? Black Hole Sun. Look at this. Wimps. The Wimps. And that is what CERN is studying. The Wimps. The neutrinos yielded in the annihilation process then be observable at Earth neutrino telescopes like the Ice Cube. Well, you got a telescope called the Ice Cube. Well, you got a telescope called the Ice Cube. Think about it. The mere word cube, even in the detection of the neutrinos, has challenges of its own. A neutrino signal detection from the direction of the sun would be very significant in its interpretation for WIMP dark matter. WIMP dark matter. So that's why you look at these things and you're seeing something at the center of that sun, and they got something up.
The Ice Cube experiment is a kilometer by kilometer long array down in Antarctica when they drilled holes into the ice at various depths and put detectors down there to detect electrons coming from particles that are being interacted with cosmic rays. That's all it is. It's right down at the absolute South Pole, or close to it. And because scientists find stuff that they go, ooh, that's interesting. They study it. Doesn't mean somebody's telling them to study it. They're doing it on their own, or want to do it on their own. And the center of the sun is a very dense, hot place. As far as we know, there may be dark matter in there, but it's not a black hole. A black hole is something completely different. If there was a black hole, there wouldn't be a sun, because a black hole is a super dense object that would attract all the matter around it and collapse the sun. So it's not a black hole. It's kind of getting to a 10-minute mark here, and I think that's as long as this video should be. There's more from her original video, so I may make another one. But it's interesting. Her views are interesting. I don't know where she gets them from, but oh yes, the cube thing is she believes that there are cubed alien spaceships coming from the sun, which are probably just defects in the signal transmission from the stereo satellite observing the sun. But thank you for listening, and have a good day, and hopefully there will be